Hello everyone and welcome back to the next installment of our 9.2 raid guides, proudly presented by Coinbase. This is Crzypck from Team Liquid, and today we'll show you how to kill Xy'mox in the heroic Sepulcher of the first ones. Xy'mox is a two-stage fight. Stage 1 is the primary stage, with stage 2 being more of an intermission against some adds. You'll begin the encounter in stage 1. Stage 2 will occur at both 75% and 50% health on the boss, and the boss is pretty much invulnerable during that. When the adds die, you'll move back into stage 1. Alright, let's jump into the abilities. If you raided Castle Nathria, you'll recognize a couple of the abilities here. Dimensional Tear works exactly like it did in Nathria. It'll apply a debuff to 2 players. After 8 seconds, each player will leave a wormhole behind on the ground at their location. Running into a wormhole will instantly teleport you to the other wormhole. Continuum stasis traps are very similar to the stasis traps from Nathria as well. They'll appear under the feet of a few random players and arm about 2 seconds after appearing. If you run into a trap, it'll trigger, stunning you and requiring the raid to DPS down and break the trap to break you out. However, unlike in Nathria, these do not despawn after being triggered and will rearm. They're permanent here. So you can't necessarily just have a hunter run around and trigger all of them with Turtle Up to get rid of them and remove them from the fight. Hyperlight Spark Nova is also back, but buffed up a bit. It'll put a 3-yard circle around everybody in the raid, and then shoot a spark that'll bounce to each player in rapid succession. This deals light damage to everybody within the circle, so you'll need to spread out when they appear. The dangerous part of this is that it'll also apply a potent dot on everybody, and stacks if you get hit by someone else's circle as well. Do not let that happen. On top of all of these returning abilities, there's 3 new mechanics. Gunship Barrage is the easiest. It'll put swirlies on the ground, don't stand in them. Glyph of Relocation is a tank debuff, dealing mild damage over 5 seconds. When it expires, it'll explode, dealing heavy raid damage and gripping the entire raid to the tank. The initial explosion damage is reduced based on distance from the explosion. After the explosion, the affected tank will then take 50% increased arcane damage for 1 minute. The last new mechanic is definitely the most impactful here. There's a Genesis relic in the very center of the room. During stage 1, this will periodically create a Genesis ring. This is a large ring that'll start from the relic itself and expand outward across the entire platform. If you touch the ring, you die. To counter this, you'll need to use the wormholes. We recommend keeping one wormhole right near the relic at the center of the room and the other along the outer edge of the room. It's important to note, the tank grip and the Hyperlight Spark Nova will overlap with rings several times throughout this fight. When the grip overlaps, it'll actually always cast after you've had a chance to run through the wormhole. Make sure you have a clear path to wherever the tank is for the grip. When Spark Nova overlaps, it'll always explode a few seconds after you're able to take the wormhole, so teleport, then spread out as quickly as possible. Once the boss reaches 75% health, and later 50% health, you'll enter stage 2, the Intermission. The boss will run to the relic and become invulnerable. You'll take ticking damage the entire time this phase, growing in strength by 10% each tick. This starts to really hurt, and you'll almost certainly need a raid cooldown or 2 to keep everybody stable throughout this intermission. When the intermission itself begins, you'll be fighting several adds. 2 Xy Acolytes will spawn and need to be tanked, and these also do a frontal cone ability. Each tank will pick up one of them, and the tanks will want to stand a couple yards apart so you don't get hit by both frontals, as it also causes you to take increasing damage each time you're hit. If an Acolyte reaches 100 energy, it'll explode, wiping the raid. These are priority targets, and your raid should focus on killing them as quickly as possible. 3 Xy Spellslinger adds will also spawn. These cast Debilitating Ray, applying a dot to a random target, dealing mild damage, and slowing them by 50% for 8 seconds. This can, and should, be interrupted. You'll want to use grips and knockbacks here to bring them all together on top of the Acolytes as quickly as possible for cleave. Remember, make absolutely sure the Acolytes die before reaching 100 energy. A note for this, during the intermissions, the Genesis rings will cease, but the gunship will be shooting down its barrage of swirlies significantly more often, so watch your feet. Once all of the adds die, the boss's shield will fall and you'll go back into stage 1. From here on out, it's mostly rinse and repeat, but with one major thing to be aware of. During the second stage 1, Genesis rings will come from outside the room, shrinking inwards towards the relic. This doesn't really change much, but it is something that you'll want to be aware of. However, during the third stage 1, after that second intermission at 50%, you'll now get 2 Genesis rings back to back. Both will come from the center and expand outwards. You'll also sometimes have the tank grip occur between the 2 rings, which is really dangerous. To counter this, we recommend having the tank run to the wormhole the raid needs to take for the second ring and have everybody gripped into that. Then, immediately run through that wormhole and avoid the ring. If the tank grip itself pulls you through the ring, you actually don't die. However, it's still vital you watch your positioning so that after you land, you know where to run to so as not to get hit by the ring when it comes by passively. When the boss reaches 25% health, the Genesis rings will actually get even more dangerous. From this point on, there will always be 3 rings per cast. The first 2 will come from the center expanding outwards, and then the third will come from outside the room collapsing inwards. You'll still get overlaps here with the tank grip and spark nova, and it gets really crazy. We recommend popping bloodlust around 30%ish on the boss to really blast through this last part of the fight as quickly as possible. We also have a handful of notes for you. First, the stasis traps. As we said, they never despawn. However, if you get in a bind and you're running out of space, you can have a hunter run over several with turtle. This will trigger the traps but not affect the hunter. When you do this, the traps are deactivated for 10 seconds, giving you some wiggle room. Second, you'll want to rotate around the room for each occurrence of stage 1. Here, you'll see a graphic showing the positioning we used throughout the fight. Each pair of markers represents a position for the wormholes. This shows 5 pairs, and we recommend moving to the next pair as you start getting tight on room. You may only need 4 of these sets, and that's fine. Rotate it at your pace based on where the stasis traps end up filling up. And one last note, try to never go further than where the current wormholes are, so your space is free of traps later on in the fight. The exception to this is when the tank grip overlaps with Spark Nova, where sometimes you'll just want to run ahead to ensure people have room to spread. Later in the fight, stuff gets really dangerous, and it'll take your raid several pulls to get used to the flow of 3 rings back and forth. Watch your feet, use the wormholes properly, be mindful of tank grip overlaps, and keep pumping the boss until he dies. If you enjoyed this guide, remember to like it and make sure you're subscribed to the channel to catch all of our previews, guides, kill videos, and more. A big thank you to Coinbase for making guides like these possible. From everyone here at Team Liquid, have a great day, and we'll see you for the next video.